hold on to your royal hats because apparently Meghan is going to start influencing again. But the big question is, does anyone even want to be influenced by an overdone duchess? Let's get to the crunch. There is no question that there is a hunger for more when it comes to the Sussexes, but is it because everybody loves the Sussexes, or is it because everybody loves a good old farce? It seems that the more the Duke and Duchess place themselves in the spotlight, the more we catch a glimpse of just how entitled and deluded they are. The debate isn't about whether Meghan will relaunch herself. It's more about when and how she will do it. Will she stick to what she knows best and churn out blogs whilst drumming up an Instagram following? Or will she swing for the fences and start a reality TV show titled Keeping Up with the Royal Rejects for that juicy royal drama fix we're all waiting for? The reality TV celebrities, the Kardashians, aren't shy about airing their dirty laundry in public. It's practically their hobby. Kim recently weathered a high-profile divorce with Kanye West, but she handled it with the grace of someone who'd watched a couple of royal documentaries in her time. The excessive airing of dirty laundry can also be said for the Sussexes too. They love to share any family scandal. The bigger the scandal, the more the Sussexes' mouths begin to water. Now, there is more than one big, huge, gaping difference between the Kardashians and the Sussexes. The first is that Kim and her posse are public relations Jedis. Probably in part because they listen to their PR team. And listening is just something that Meghan and Harry are not very good at. The Kardashians have seen it all, from X-rated scandals to Photoshop controversies, and they've handled it like seasoned pros. They never complain, never explain, and maintain their dignity, almost like they're taking lessons from the Queen. Of course, the Kardashians and the British monarchy could not behave more differently, but I'm drawing a parallel between how they deal with troublesome situations. And that's where we see the power of the PR team behind both families. Meghan and Harry really lack the ability to stay quiet about their grievances. What they are experts at is remaining tight-lipped about their privilege, because playing the victim card is their brand. Remember, they are victims of racism, victims of paparazzi, and even victims of family bullies. It's like a never-ending episode of The Crown, but with fewer corgis. Which leads us to the next big difference between the Sussexes and the Kardashians: family values. I might not be a Kardashian superfan, but I have to admire how they stick together through thick and thicker. They support each other's businesses, whether they're a hit or a flop, and they've weathered more scandals than a royal butler. No one Kardashian is more important than another, and they navigate media storms with humor, sincerity, and loyalty. The saying, blood is thicker than water, springs to mind. None of this can be said about the Sussexes' behaviour towards their own families and the monarchy. Meghan wasted no time complaining about the difficulties of royal life, and with the delicacy of a hungry hippo, divulged her own sob story at the worst possible moment during their first royal trip to Africa. Amongst women who'd faced unimaginable violence, Meghan preached about the goodness she sees in the world, the goodness that she had witnessed whilst in Africa.
And so the fact that we are able to be here together and see on the ground so much good work that's being done.
Only to pivot to her own sob story.
It's hard, because the British tabloids will destroy your life. The biggest thing that I know is that I never thought that this would be easy, but I thought it would be fair.
Bringing us to the next big difference between the Sussexes and people that are liked. Tact. Tact is the next chasm between Meghan and the Kardashians. When Kim talked about her breakup with Kanye, She expressed concern, but not for herself. It was for her kids. She remained graceful, grateful, and tactful.
But I had the best dad, and I had the best memories and the greatest experience. And that's all I want for my kids. As long as they can have that, that's what I would want for them.
Now, tact isn't exactly Meghan's middle name. In fact, I think she lost it in the same place she lost her humility. We all remember when she claimed that she alone was the most targeted person to ever have come into the royal family. It was different for her because racism and social media.
This was different, you know.
It's different because of the race.
And social media. The volume of what was coming in and the interest was greater because of social media, because of the fact that I was not just British. And if a member of his family will comfortably say, we've all had to deal with things that are rude and racist are not the same.
One can only hope she wasn't including Harry's mum in that dramatic monologue. And the last point that makes Meghan so not very influential is just how petty she can be. It lies in the little moment when she dragged up the wedding tears. Who really cried? We will never know. Was it Catherine, Princess of Wales, or was it mistreated Meghan? Why couldn't it be both? Catherine, the Princess of Wales, had very recently given birth, so I imagine sleep was hard to come by. It's a lot easier to cry when you haven't slept in a month. And Meghan was stressing out about her big day. Yes, it wasn't her first rodeo, but regardless, these events caused tears in the most courageous of women. So both women crying is the most likely scenario. However, Meghan couldn't let this one slide. She drags up the old tale back from its grave and retells it like it was yesterday, obviously still very bitter about the media coverage.
It was a really hard week of the wedding, and she was upset about something, but she owned it and she apologized and she brought me flowers and a note apologizing. It's really important for people to understand the truth. I would hope that she would have wanted that corrected.
Proudly proclaiming that it was Meghan who was left in tears. It was Meghan who was the victim as usual.
What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me.
Luckily, by this moment, they were ex-royals, because if she had said this as a royal, it may have gone down in history as the most petty of all royal moments. How she thought retelling this story would give her any clout is beyond me. The only thing it gave her was 17 million poor viewers with second-hand embarrassment, most of whom were probably screaming at their screens, "Just stop talking." So, is the world really ready to be influenced by Meghan, the pettiest of duchesses? Let us know what you think down in the comments. One person said they went over this interview before the interview ever happened. She knew the questions that he was going to ask. This happens with every interview. You know all the questions first. This is very interesting because a lot of people who comment on this particular interview in which she claims being bullied by the tabloid media and how hard her life is in the royal family, a lot of people claim that she seems to be acting, and we can do a video looking at the micro expressions and some of the body language if there is a demand for it. But most people who have watched this interview don't believe that she's being sincere. Bless her heart, she has food to eat, water to drink, clean clothes to wear, bodyguards to keep her safe. She doesn't do housework or mow her own grass. She has a house to live in and blah, blah, blah. I am playing the world's tiniest violin for her. It is very difficult to feel sorry for her when she is standing right beside these African women that they have gone there to help due to the brutality that they have faced. These joyful women who've accepted Harry and Meghan into their communities, who've shared their deeply traumatic stories with Harry and Meghan to highlight the problems within their communities. And yet, Meghan still manages to feel sorry for herself. Someone else said, imagine everyone in this world starts complaining about their in-laws live on TV. We'd have so many soap operas. How much more can we take someone who is so privileged complaining? I just don't know. Someone else said, my ex-boyfriend's family made me cry too. I want an interview. When you put it like that, it just really points out the ridiculousness of it. We all have dramas within our families, whether it's our in-laws or whether it's our direct families, but we're not obviously all going to go on television and talk about it like that. It is so humiliating. Someone else said, what better place to take your Hollywood tears than the Oprah Winfrey Show? Well, when you really want privacy, in the way that only the Sussexes want privacy, it seems that Oprah is the only place to go. The biggest, of course, the absolute biggest talk show host in probably on the planet actually, but certainly in America. 17 million people tuned in to watch that. She managed to embarrass herself in front of 17 million people. She thought she would get away with so many lies in front of 17 million people. Not so smart, not the most intelligent thing she has ever done in her life. Hit the like button if you think we are not quite ready to be influenced by Meghan Markle, and subscribe to the channel to help the Crown family blossom. See you down in the comments.